What expensive purchase have you made that has paid for itself many times over because you saved money in the long run? New windows on our house. Replace the old single pane metal framed windows. It was like a waterfall of cold air coming off of them and the noise from the street was obnoxious. Heating bill was cut in half. When I moved back to my hometown over a year ago, I bought a 27-feet sailboat to live on because rent here is outrageous. Boat cost $4,500 to buy, and mortgage at a decent marina is about $170 a month. Rent for a studio apartment or 1BR here is $900 to $1,300. Every month I save between $600 and $1,100, so the boat paid for itself in 4-9 months. Quality cold weather gear. Not only does it work better and look better, I've had a couple jackets for over 5 years now that see heavy use. Meanwhile, I have a couple friends that basically buy and throw away cheap gear every season. Works like shit, looks like shit, ends up in a landfill, costs more in the long run. Lose, 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 lose. I have 6 acres of land with a fair amount of trees on it. I spent about $25k for a backhoe that has saved, and will save me tons of back-breaking work. It's amazing the amount of stuff I can do that would take huge amounts of energy without the backhoe. Need a tree taken down and the stump removed? Give me an hour. Need a dead horse buried? True story? Give me about 2 hours. Need a 100-foot long trench dug for water or power? Give me an hour. Need a 15-foot deep hole dug for who knows what nefarious reason? Give me about 2 hours. Need to flip a car? Give me about 2 minutes. Plow something? Completely destroy your yard? Move that dirt? Drag something heavy? Unstick something stuck? It was a shitting of money for me, but incredible what I can do. Edit: this will probably never be read due to the amount of replies otherwise, but I didn't really think, other than maybe solar panels, that mine would be the most expensive. Really though, if you have any land that isn't just flat boring farmland, you need a backhoe. Also, everyone with that kind of land knows they need a backhoe. Edit again. Crap. Thanks for the little award guy up there. Edit again, and thanks for the other little award thing. These are my first. Thrilling. What the crap. Edit again. Thanks for the third and any additional awards. I don't know what they mean or do, but they're cute. Bought a really expensive pair of shoes with my first salary. Almost 1/4 of my salary then. They were super comfortable and really sturdy. Didn't have to buy another pair for years. I still have them somewhere almost as good as new. Got tired of wearing them and bought a new pair. I bought a 500.00 bicycle to use as my main transportation. 500 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're only making 8 an hour, it took some time to save up for it. With public transportation being 2.50 a ride, the bike paid for itself in about 3 months. I used that bike for about 3 years. I still have it, but I moved so I can't use it for the same purposes. When my wife and I first started dating, she wanted to learn to cut hair and wanted a pair of scissors that cost $25, which was a lot for us then. She offered that if I bought her the scissors, she'd cut my hair for free as long as we were together. She lied. After 25 years, she declared that she'd repaid me for the scissors and was going to stop cutting my hair. Still not a bad deal. Kenmore washer and dryer purchased new from Sears in 1998. They are still going strong, and I guarantee when they do kick the bucket, the new washer and dryer I'll have to get from Lowe's will be lucky to last 10 years. High quality tools. I've been through so many shitty tools. Basically anything you can buy at the local OB. It's all made in China and not worth anything. Older German or British tools are fantastic and will last 100 years with some love. My wife and I just bought a house. The guy we bought the place from suggests that the house itself is somewhat expensive to heat and keep warm. So the first thing I looked at was the attic. And sure enough, there's 7 inches of insulation when there should be like 16. We're going to blast a few inches of insulation in there and probably save enough on oil to pay for it several times over throughout the life of the place. My boots. I was going through a pair of $120 boots every 6 months or so. I finally broke down and bought a pair of $400 boots from a local store. Not only do they clean and oil them monthly, for free, they also re-stitch and resole them as needed. When they eventually do wear out to the point of no repair, I will be buying the same exact boots from them again. Edit to add, they are Red Wing Lager Max Soft Toe. I live in Minnesota and am a single woman. One winter I missed 2 shifts at work because my car wouldn't start and I didn't have anyone who could jump it, and roadside assistance couldn't be there for hours. After that I went out and spent a little over $100 on a portable car starter. It is a small black box that connects to the battery and jumps the car without needing someone else's car. This has saved me so much time and money. Also, being a single girl who at the time worked at night, I didn't have to worry that some stranger stopping to help might have ulterior motives. I feel much safer and always keep it in my purse. Added bonus, I can charge my phone with it too. I've been singing its praises ever since. A very expensive suit. This was the late 90s and I was 20 years old, getting paid by the hour to do glorified help desk work. I had dropped out of college a couple semesters, and because I needed to work, a recruiter called me out of the blue saying they needed someone right away. Could I interview the next day? The employer was the largest privately held company in the US and they had a reputation for being a very conservative suit and tie operation. All I had was a poor fitting sport coat I got when I worked at Circuit City. I called my father and he said go to Nordstrom's, explain the situation and they'll get one done for you. So that's what I did, and $600 later I'd emptied my bank account and was walking out the door with a new suit freshly altered that night. I did the interview and just hit it out of the park. They offered me $55k starting salary to do app support, which in the 90s was a crap ton of money for a guy going from making not a lot of money. This one sounds extremely frivolous, but just hear me out. For my high school prom, I rented my dress from a popular designer rental company, so that was cheap, but I decided to splurge on a $98 pair of black heels. I worked for my money. Before then, I'd never fathomed spending so much on shoes, but when I saw them, they were the perfect any occasion nice heels. Matched literally anything, could be dressed all the way up to prom level, but the height was reasonable enough to get away with a more professional look. 2. Let me tell you, when I slipped those bad boys on, my life was forever changed and I learned an important lesson that has saved me hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars over the years since. Expensive heels are expensive because they are comfortable. I repeat, expensive heels are comfortable to wear. I danced all the way through prom in those 4.5 inches beauties, and they remain in my closet, still regularly used at age 26. Years ago my wife and I had a Starbucks Verismo espresso machine. Each pod cost $1, and we'd each use 2 every day. That's $4 a day, so we were spending upwards of $28 a week just on coffee. Still cheaper than Starbucks, but we grew tired of the pod trash and having to find the coffee pods we liked. So, we decided to purchase a Durarina Micro 1 coffee machine. It grinds and pressure brews coffee and espresso. We were able to reduce our costs from $4 a day to less than $0.20 per day, assuming $5 pound coffee bought in bulk. The machine was $800, but it paid for itself in less than 8 months. That was 4 years ago this month. We've saved over $5,000 in that time. Plus no more pod trash, and we get to choose whatever coffee beans we want, rather than being limited to what was in pods. Maybe not what you're looking for, but cloth diapers. My wife and I cloth diapered with our first child, and are using them again for our second. The initial investment was hefty. We spent just shy of $500 for about 30 diapers. However, we don't buy disposable at all. I have conservatively said we would spend $100 a month on disposable. We cloth diapered till my daughter was 2.5 years old, so 30 months. That's roughly $3,000, so saving about $2,500. With our second child there is no upfront cost since we still have the diapers and he turns 9 months old in 2 weeks. So another $900 saved. Now this isn't perfect. I understand the added cost of water and detergent, but Timo, that's negligible based on laundry for a 4-person household anyways when you figure bulk detergent and e-washers. My wife would also say the environmental impact of not throwing diapers into landfills. A few years ago, I walked the Camino de Santiago, French way, which is 800 kilometers. I had never been on such a long hike before, but on shorter trips, I always had trouble with my feet. I'd get terrible blisters on long days and lose toenails on mountain descents. I purchased, because my shitty insurance would pay, services from a podiatrist before going on the Camino. I learned a lot about maintaining my feet, and I had no trouble on the Camino and have not had any blisters or lost nails since then. I essentially paid the podiatrist for a lesson in foot care. Decent coffee maker. Espresso maker. I drink 2 double shots a day. That thing paid for itself within a month. I also don't need to leave the house. Making the espresso takes literally 1 minute, and quality even with pre-ground coffee is better than of non-cafe coffee from around the corner. Now, the grinder is something I still have to justify for myself. As of yet I'm too stubborn to pay a reasonable price for orders of magnitude better tasting coffee. Edit. Just to clarify, I didn't mean anything fancy. The espresso maker I bought was about $150 at the time. It's not amazing, but like I said, it paid for itself and lets me stay at home, which as of now is more valuable than I could have foreseen. I will buy a grinder someday, but I am not looking to buy one right now. My homemade coffee I just drink for the caffeine, and I have a lot of other stuff of higher priority that has to be paid for. An expensive bicycle. My old one was a $600 cruiser commuter, which isn't cheap, but the roads and type of cycling I do here were a nightmare on the components. Every 3-4 months I had to bring it into the shop to have something replaced or fixed. Broken spoke, wheels trued, tires replaced, and the big scam at my local bike shop is that your chain is stretched, so you need a new chain, and cassette scam they used to pull one over on naive folks to up their sales. I can do all the work myself, but it's a value of my time thing. Annoying. Plus I'd lose use of my primary transport for a week while the work was being done. In the 5 years I had it, the only things I hadn't replaced were the headset, front wheel, and cranks. I'd been through 2 sets of pedals, 2 bottom brackets, full set of brake and shift cables, 7-9 cassettes and chains, rear derailleur and drop down, 3 V-brakes, about a dozen brake pads, 2 shifters, 2 rear wheels, 2-3 sets of tires, countless tubes, and a fucking partridge in a pear tree. I'd spent more keeping the stupid thing running than I'd paid for it. So I bit the bullet and bought a $2,000 touring bike, and it's worlds of difference. After 2 years of 48 weeks a year use, I was replacing a tube, the only thing besides a cable I've had to replace, and decided to true the wheels. They were maybe 2mm out of true. It's insane how well built and bomb-proof this bike is, and stable. Under load, this baby purrs. So, never again. I'll buy a good bike out of the gate, and save on maintenance any day of the week. Espresso machine. I'm an ex-barista, so I know how to make most fancy beverages, but I didn't have the equipment. I'm also addicted to coffee, so my household was easily spending $10.20 per day on beverages. I bought a $90 basic espresso machine with foam wand, and I spent another $60 in startup materials, nice coffee, milks, ice tray, reusable straws, and a few syrups. I kept a detailed log of my expenses for the first few months, and each drink came out to be about $1.60 in materials. I generally make at least 2 beverages a day, and it saves us $300 per month. I don't make a lot of expensive purchases, mostly because I live with my parents and don't have much money of my own. I get 99% of my expensive clothes, music equipment, and electronics as gifts, but purchases that generally end up being worth more than I pay for them are succulents. They're lovely little houseplants that don't need a lot of consistent attention. Perfect for someone like me, who has depression and ADHD and has trouble getting out of bed and remembering to do things. And, what's more, they are super easy to propagate. Make more of them. Detached leaves start sprouting new baby plants if you just leave them be. And cut stems will very easily grow new roots if you let them scab over and stick them in some water. Basically, by buying one succulent, you can have essentially as many of that kind of succulent as you want.